Hello, Dark Blue Monkey here. I'm going to be bringing you an old game from way back in my past. This game is called Begin, the tactical Starfleet simulation. And anyone who's played the Starfleet board game, the Star Trek board game, or the Starfleet Command 1, 2, and 3 games will recognize this format. It's basically a skirmish simulator, two groups of ships attacking each other and doing various things. But this is from way back. This is from the mid 80s. So I think I first got this sometime around 1987, 1988, and it's been on every computer since then. It's great for filling in a little bit of time. And it teaches you a little bit about tactics and a little bit about when to attack and when to retreat. But at the end of the day, it's a little toy. So you pick the two sides. So let's just do standard Federation versus Klingon. You choose the composition of your fleets. So I'll choose a heavy cruiser, and I'll give him a frigate. What I'll also do is I'll take an interceptor to kind of show a little bit more. But I will put myself, my flagship, in the heavy cruiser. Okay, so we have two on one, so looks like it should be a pretty easy contest, unless things are pretty muffed up. I don't think I'll play all the way to the end because it can take 10-15 minutes. It is turn-based. But let's have a go. Right. So on the left-hand side we have the text window, which is where you interact with the game. On the right-hand side you have the chart, the scanner, and at the bottom right you've got your what your ship is currently, what its current status is. You've got phaser banks, torpedo tubes, and probe launchers. Probes can carry a warhead in this. Go a bit slower, but pack quite a wallop. You've got, as with the other Starfleet games, you've got 6 shields, 1 and 2 at the front, 3 and 4 at the side, 5 and 6 at the back. And you've got various warp drives, which propel you around the universe. With that warp drive, you can go on impulse at warp 1, and well, from -1 to 1 if you want to be picky about it. Okay, on the left-hand side, what we see here is my ship is the Defiant. The guys who programmed the game were really good about keeping the ship class and the ship names. Anyone's got the Starfleet technical manual will recognise that things like the Defiant, the Enterprise, the Constitution are all heavy cruiser class. The Terror must be a scout class or something. And the Klingon's been given the Python. We're all travelling at warp 1. You're given your situation map as a bunch of courses and bearings. So course is your course, which direction the particular ships are travelling in. Bearing is the bearing of the ship from another ship. So in this case, the chart is from myself. So the Terror is 295 from me, which, if you remember, 0, 90, 180, 270, so 295, as you can see from the scanner, is just sort of up and left a little bit. The Python is at 91, which is almost exactly east, as you can see. The Terror is only 7k away, and the Python's 20k away. The mark that is I always forget whether that's their bearing from me. No, sorry, they're heading to me or my heading to them. It'll become apparent in a little while, but it's great for knowing when something's pointing towards you. You can chart from other ships as well. So as far as the Python's concerned, I am at a bearing of 271 from it. It's on a course of 271, which means that's why its mark is 0. It is heading directly for me. If I chart from the Terror, you can see that I am at a bearing of 115 from it, so 90, 115 is down here somewhere, as you can see. And I am travelling at I'm pointing at 24 degrees away. So you've got to have a bit of a you've got to have a bit of a good situational awareness of bearings, angles, and distances in order to play the game. But it's not insurmountable. Once you get into it, it gets quite standard. So at the moment, we're all traveling at warp 1, which is pretty low. We're all traveling towards each other, and we're getting ready to fight. So I just took a turn by pressing enter. You can see the banks are starting to load. So what I'll do is I'll lock all my banks on the Python, and I will load all my tubes. Actually, tell you what, I'll load tubes 1, 2, and 3. So I'll put a wide proximity fuse in tubes 1, 2, and 3. That means that the torpedoes will detonate at a range of 500 meters, which means they won't do a huge amount of damage, but they're more likely to hit. And I will load tubes 4, 5, and 6 with a much tighter proximity fuse. So the idea being that at the beginning, when the Python is still got its phasers, you want to try and get a few torpedoes through its phaser screen, knock a couple of lumps out of it, maybe knock out a phaser or two, and then you go for the directed torpedoes. Often I'll choose, say, 4 and 2 or 5 and 1. Try a couple of wide torpedoes and then follow up with one. If I scan the Python, you can see it's got 2 torpedo launchers, so it can launch 2 torpedoes at a time, but it's got 5 phaser banks, which means there is a tactic in the game. The enemies are pretty good at picking off your torpedoes with their phasers, so you tend to launch your torpedoes 1, 2, 3, 4 in a cycle, but it's difficult to actually catch an enemy with 5 phasers out in that, because the phasers take three turns to recharge, and it only takes 1 phaser. So you can have phasers 1, 2, and 3 constantly cycling around torpedo defense. So it's potluck. You can, if you catch them unawares, if 2 ships are attacking, you can catch them unawares. But okay, so now what I need to do is I need to lock all my tubes onto the Python. So when you've got multiple enemies, you can lock different tubes on different enemies, so you can actually have a fight on 2 or 3 fronts if you're a larger class ship. Anyone who's played the Starfleet Command games will probably lean towards getting everyone to gang up on one ship and pick them off one by one, usually starting with whoever's pissing you off the most. Works in this as well. Right, so it looks like we've reached torpedo range at 16,000. Both Defiant and the Terror and the Python have launched a couple of torpedoes. Terror being a little bit reticent there; it's only firing off 1 test torpedo. So I can fire tubes 1, 2, and 3. Those are my wide dispersion tubes. They will try and hit the Python at quite a distance. Now, I am still only travelling in the original direction at the original warp speed, so I will come to a course to try and bring me past the Python, and I'll try and go alongside it. So I won't head towards it. I will go at a course of 100 warp 6. Okay, that's gonna shoot me straight past the Python, hopefully within phaser range. I'll take a couple of lumps out of it, maybe fire a couple of tubes, and see how much damage we do. Okay, so it looks like the Python hit me first. I took a couple of hits, so let's damage report. My shield 3, 2 torpedoes took it down to 85%, so I can't take too many shots like that. Okay, we're starting to close now. The Terror is only two clicks away, so we're in quite a tight formation, which is good. So we've got 2 hits on our forward shield. Again, probably down to 85%, not too much to worry about. Down to 5,000, 4,000. There, so you see the Python did a bit of torpedo defense. It took out one of my Mark 7 torpedoes, or one of his, the Terrors, and he took out 2 of his own torpedoes. We're definitely closing the, if I chart from the Terror, the Python is within phaser range, so we'll probably start seeing the Defiant. We'll start seeing the Defiant. Sorry. They're looking great. They're looking just fine. Alright, let's Python's shield 2 hit. How badly? Quite badly. Python's looking a bit scratched. We're almost on top. Right, now we're at 700. So my phaser banks will rip into his shield. So I will do a very narrow spread and I will just smack. So his forward shield, which is never good for a ship to have your forward shield with a hole in it. That means you've got to constantly play a game of tack against the enemy. You've got to tack against the wind, so to speak, and so keep your bow. So if I scan him, let's see how much damage I did. Ooh, right half. So my shot has taken out 50% of his shield. So I'm now at 600. Right, we've shot way past each other, and he's hit me once on my aft shield, which is not awful. Okay, so we've shot past each other. Time to head back and start doing some damage again. So he's at 252 warp, and I will come up to about warp 6 again. Hopefully he's attacking the. Oh, the Terror is going to give him some. Now, Terror's going to give him some grief from a different angle. Okay, so you see that the scanner is now pretty cluttered, and we're all fighting in. So if I drop the scanner range down to 4,000, you can see what's going on here. So the Terror is much closer to the Python. It's going in for the kill. I am swinging around. My course is 136, which is down here somewhere. So I'm slowly coming around to the Python. I'm taking some hits on my aft shield because we screamed past each other. So I will fire tubes 4 and 5 at him just to keep him. Oh, excellent. So it looks like 3 of my torpedoes, or 3 of the Terror's torpedoes, have hit his shield too. Another forward shield. So let's scan him. Okay, so his front 2 shields are now down to 50%. That's not good. That means he's probably going to try and keep his aft pointed towards us. Okay. Okay, we're closing. Terror's firing 6 phasers. Right, so the Terror's taken out 2 of my 2 torpedoes, but he has hit his side shields. I don't know how he can hit both shields 3 and 4 at the same time. Random number generator throwing up an issue then. Okay, we are down to 1.2 kilometers away. I am on course 190. He is at bearing 300. So I'm going to have to come to course 0, Mark 8 in order to try and keep up. But we are now practically on top of him, 800 away, so I'm going to fire all banks straight at him, point blank, right into his shield 2. So, right, his shield 2 is now down to 20%. And my shields are still up at about 80% or 100%. That's not bad. My warp core is still cool. I'm doing all right. Okay. Let's see how things goes. Oh, okay. So the Terror has also laid into him with phasers, and he's got through the shields and smacked into his hull. So the Python is now probably looking a bit ill. Yeah, 6 lasers, 6 phasers at point blank, shield to 2 down. I think it's time to go close range and start picking him off. So, course 76. He's trying to, I think he's going to try and escape now, so let's try and keep up. Yeah, he's trying to get away. So his mark 195, that means he's desperately trying to get away from me. But we're still quite close. So let's lay into his aft shields. There we go. Again, I hit shields 1 and 6. That's the front and the back. I'm not sure how I managed that. Yeah, his shields are not looking good. Let's see what the tubes do. They'll probably scream past him at this range, but oh well. Okay. Come to course 354. What? 6.5. Let's just try and steadily catch up to him. We're still within phaser range, just so. Let's see if we can catch him. Yep, we caught him. We caught him on his shield 3. So his front 2 shields are gone. Shield 3 side left port side shield is down to 30%, and the other shields are still holding fairly strong. So he's going to try and make a run for it now, if he can. No, his warp temperature is quite high. He's going to have to start slowing down, I think, and his warp core is only at 60%. Brilliant. He just got hit in one of his aft shields, and he just got hit in the same shield. So he's just been hit by 4 torpedoes in the same shield. Yeah, that's it. He is dead in the water. He's got 1 functioning reactor, which means he can't sustain a major fight. Shields are starting to come back up a little bit though, so he's doing a bit of damage repair. But I think this is it. There's not a lot he can do to recover this one now. So let's just close in. Course he's 276 from me, so come to course 276, and we'll try and close in a little bit. Warp 4. Let's narrow the distance. The Terror will be also. Now you notice that one of his probes is kind of like trailing me. See? So I'm going to turn one of my banks to face it. Ugh, it hit me anyway. So it probably did quite a bit of damage to my shield 6. I wasn't there in time. Yeah, it's taken one of my shields down. Probes are like that, but I don't think there's much that he can do at this point. Yeah, okay, so we're down to 850. There really is not a lot he can do. He's about to get 4 phaser banks right in the chops. 4 hits on the hull. Yeah, his warp core's out. He can't move. He's got no shields. He's got no offensive capability whatsoever. He's dead in the water. Let's just 2-9. Let's just sit here. Wait for the phaser banks to come up. There we go. His life support has failed, and the little diamond next to his name means that we are victorious. Let's see what the computer thought. 0.19. So the computer clearly thought that we should have done a lot better than that. Performance evaluation of 1, I think, means that it was acceptable. So 0.19 is pretty bad. So yeah, that is Begin. As you can see, not that long. I think, what was that, about 10 minutes for a quick skirmish game. If you're feeling in a particularly cruel mood, you can take 8 ships against 1 and pound them into oblivion. If you're feeling like a challenge, you can reverse that. Although the AI of the computer is pretty good at taking out your torpedoes, so it becomes steadily more unlikely that you'll win. Yeah, if you fancy having a go, just look it up, My Abandonia. You can even play it on Tinterwebs through the browser plugin that runs DOSBox. The frame rate's a bit low, but otherwise, yeah, it's a very, very small download. It's only 100k. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope that was in some way interesting, and I'll see you next time.